Hey Genesis in St. Louis, Missouri. This is Matthew with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses for your new Wayfarer, which is model number 2132, the color 6053, and the 55i size. So let's go ahead and take your frame out of the original packaging that Rayban sends it to me in, your Italian leather Rayban case, your Rayban frame, and your Rayban wrinkled Rayban cleaning cloth. Let's put that back in there, and of course Rayban ships this to me with a little plastic sleeve on the temple to prevent the temples from rubbing together. If they think that's a good idea, where I'm going to put a second one, let me grab my second one, I'm going to put a second one on the other side so we'll have twice the protection when I ship back to you. But let me take all of this off for now. This just happens to be the same frame that I'm wearing. I'm just wearing the smaller 52i size. You wanted the larger 55. But we can make it happen. I'm going to take the dark lenses out and put clear lenses in just like I'm wearing them. So let me pop out your original heavy glass lenses. Your frame now weighs about half its original weight. So I'm going to actually install the thinner, lighter weight unbreakable lenses, but I'm going to put your Italian frame into my Italian Santanelli. This is the LE1000 patternless edger, and the stylus has popped up and it's going to trace the shape of the right lens, and then it's going to move over and trace the shape of the left here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Rayban frame and you will receive free, clear, single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. If you have vision insurance or flex dollars that you're not using and you want a really cool pair of Rayban glasses or any other, Rayban Polo, Gucci, Prada, Versace, Coach, any of that, I'll put clear non-prescription lenses in there. Of course, I can do transitions, I can do anti-glare, whatever you need me to. I'm going to pull the shape up of the lens on the computer. I'm going to get your pupillary distance, which is 69. I'm going to program that into the computer. 69. These are polycarbonate lenses that I'm cutting for a Xyle frame, which is just an old school name for plastic. And I know from experience that the 55i size has a deeper bevel than the 52. So I'm going to take it down a little bit in advance. I may have to do some more at the very end just to get the size perfect. But your right eye reads -1 1/4, -50 at 90. So -1 1/4, -50 at 90. I went ahead and wrote on here, this is your right lens. I'm going to take it out of the packet. I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 90. The sphere power is -1 1/4, so I'm going to set the power drum. I'm going to rotate your lens until the sphere power comes in clearly. Find the optical center, check your astigmatism. That looks good, and I'll explain all that in just a moment. But I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses. They may be too light for you to see, so I'm going to darken them for you. And that is the right lens. I'm going to do the same thing for your left lens. -1 -50 at 90. -1 -50 at 90. Take it out, put the power drum on -1. I don't have to change the axis wheel for your left lens. You are the same on both eyes. Just find the center of the lens, get the sphere power clear, check your astigmatism correction, put 3 dots on your lenses, and darken those 3 dots. And this is the left lens. So, this is a block, or as I like to say, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting. This is what's going to hold it in place in the machine. So I need a double-sided adhesive sticker. I'm going to put this into my blocker. And don't you know, out of Minnesota, 3M, the same people who make Post-it notes, make a double-sided adhesive sticker. The black side is the sticky side, so I'm going to stick that onto the block, pull the sticker away on my side, and essentially what I'm looking into is, just like the crosshairs of a scope, I have a vertical meridian and a horizontal one, and I want to make sure I get those 3 dots lined up on the horizontal meridian with the vertical one going right through the center of your lens. So I'm going to attach that to your lens. Now I'm going to do the same thing for your left lens. Put the block into the blocker, get a double-sided adhesive sticker, stick that onto the block, pull the tape away, and let's get everything lined up perfectly. And so the horizontal one is here, and the vertical one goes right through your optical center, which is going to be dead center in front of your pupil. So I'm going to take your right lens and put it into the chuck, or as I like to say, the Charles, because I just don't know this machine well enough to call it chuck. But the first thing that's going to happen, apart from bad humor, is these calipers are going to come down, and it's going to trace the shape of the right side of your frame onto the lens to make sure the lens is large enough to fit. It's going to start with the rear surface, the concave surface closest to your eyelashes. Then it's going to move over and trace the front surface, the convex side of the lens, all the while measuring the thickness at every point on the lens to know exactly where to place the bevel so it fits best inside the frame. The cutting wheel is down here on the bottom left. This is that lighter color wheel. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material. And this wheel in the center of that channel, that valley, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it fits inside the frame, or stays inside the frame. I will have to close the door in a moment, but I just wanted you to see as your prescription lens touches down onto the cutting wheel. Now your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. It is bulletproof up to 22 caliber and has both UVA and UVB protection built into the frame. Built into the lens, I should say. The frame was running away, but it's built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin from overexposure, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you now have permanent sunscreen for your lenses. The other nice thing about your lenses that I'm providing is they are aspheric, which simply means not spherical. Excuse me. A spherical lens is round just like a fishbowl and gives you an ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance. An aspheric lens is much flatter, thinner, and is going to fit inside the frame and give you a much higher quality cosmetic value. So if you notice, there is water running in the background to collect the dust that I was just coughing, but polycarbonate cuts dry where plastic and high index plastic cut wet. Now in the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle, there are 2 water jets that will kick in, one here in the front and one in the back, and it's going to wash away the optical debris that could be on the lens, any optical sawdust if you will, such as this. Did I get it? I got a little piece there. There we go. So it's going to wash that away. And at the very end, I'll take it out and we'll get it mounted into your frame. All right, let me take this out. I want to dry your lens off, and I need to do one more thing to it before I get it mounted into your frame. I joke and I say that, like me, you have some rough edges, but this time they're on your lenses. For me, it's my whole life. But I'm going to use my handstone, which is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running. My finger gets warm due to the friction, but it's that friction that allows me to apply what's known as the safety bevel. Now, I'm going to use my thumbnail. Essentially what I've done is I've melted those rough edges, and this white powdery substance you see me scraping off your lens, this is called Schwarf. And I'm going to collect it all. Once it is off your lens and onto the counter, I carefully and very neatly collect it into one pile, and then I wipe it on the floor. Because why? The clown gets to have fun while he's at work. So let me go ahead and tuck the outside lens in to the corner closest to me, and using my thumbs I press down at the nose and it snaps in perfectly. Let me go ahead and take your left lens, flip that over to L, which means not right, and hit start. And just like before, the calipers are going to come down, but this time they're going to trace the shape of the left side of your frame to make sure the lens is large enough to fit into your frame. Always starting with the rear surface, and then it's going to measure the front surface of the lens, measuring the thickness all along. So that's how we know that it's going to fit inside the frame perfectly. If the bevel was in front, it would stick out some more. If it was in back, it would bulge out through the back. But you have a finest quality cosmetic value now, where your lens does not protrude outside of your frame, and it looks very, very thin. So as soon as the left lens starts cutting, I'm going to continue to work on your right. So this block is no longer needed. I'm going to take this off, pull the sticker off, and I'm going to put your lens in my lensometer. Well, the axis wheel should still be at 90, so I'm going to put that red dot in front of my viewfinder, and I am getting -1 1/4, which is, we have 1, 1 1/4, 150, 175, 2. Now you have 2 steps of astigmatism correction, so when I check for that, we end up with -175. You've heard of ounces, gallons, and pounds. Those are units of measurements. Well, in the optical world, we have the diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. and everything is in quarter increments starting at 0, which is Plano, also known as non-prescription, and goes up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4, 150, 175, and so on, up to 20 or more. But you can see great up close. You're nearsighted, but you need 5 steps of five steps of farsighted correction. So without your glasses on, everything is much larger in real life than it appears, so your lenses will minify down to the correct size. You need 5 steps of minification in your right eye. Now you have 2 steps of astigmatism in both eyes. There is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. Astigmatism makes everything fuzzy and blurry. So this first number gets everything the correct size. Your astigmatism, when we correct for that, think of that as the fine-tune knob. We're going to turn that knob to 90. If a straight line is 0 to 180, which is what it is, we're going to turn that to 90, which is in the center, to make everything nice and crisp. Now your left eye is -1, -50 at 90. So you only need 4 steps of correction there, but you need 2 steps of correction for your astigmatism. So remember in high school algebra, when you have 2 minuses you have to add together, or in more realistic terms, if someone owes you $1.25 and they borrow 50 more cents, they owe you $1.75. That is what we're at, 1 tick mark away from 2. So let me take your left lens out. And now you happen to be 90 in both eyes. That last number, which is the fine-tune knob, could be anywhere from 0 to 180. Most people have different in both eyes. You actually have the same axis for both eyes because you've been squinting equally. So let me scrape all this off your lens, get it on the counter. Once it's on the counter, I wipe it on the floor because the clown loves to have fun at work. So in order to tuck your left lens in, I'm going to put it in at the outside corner closest to me. Then using my thumbs, I press down at the nose. It snaps in perfectly. I'm going to take this block off, pull that sticker off, and since it's still on 90, I'm going to put this in. And of course, the power of your left lens is -1, -50. The first curvature -1, we are at -1 perfectly. 2 more steps of astigmatism correction, and we're at -150. Now your pupillary distance, your PD, is 69. So I'm going to flip the card over so you can see, and where my thumb is at on your right lens, I'm going to put the 0 on my PD stick, and on your left lens we're measuring 69 millimeters, so that is made perfectly. One more thing I want to do is clean the red dots off your lenses, and this gives me time to let everyone know that when you receive these in the mail, if they're too loose or they're too tight, or more than likely if they're high on one side or the other, that's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other, and I'm no different. I'll show you in just a moment. But just stop by your local optical shop. 99% of all shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get this in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, when I set mine down, they wobble on the counter because I have one ear that's lower than the other, which is my left. So, but they sit level on me. Press down, there is no wobble. I close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly in the same amount of tension on each hinge, and there is. So that's that. If anyone has any questions about what I can and can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. And Genesis in St. Louis, Missouri, I hope you enjoyed watching. Since you're from the Show Me state, I hope I showed you how I make prescription lenses for your new Ray-Bans. This is the Ray-Ban 2132 New Wayfarer, color 6053 in the 55 eye size, which is the blue crystal. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.